and welcome to Moonlit Magic. We are here celebrating the energy of the Sagittarius new moon, and we're going to unlock the messages and meaning of what this energy is bringing into our lives. My name is Elise, and I am going to sort of guide you through this energy. And as I do this, what would be really helpful is if you took out your journal or notebook to kind of write down anything that pops out to you, or if you have cards at home, get yours so you can lay them out along with me, and I'll let you know what each one means as we go along. Or maybe you're on the other end of the spectrum and you don't even want to look at the cards. That's perfectly okay too, just to sit here and listen to the messages. The more clarity you can bring yourself here is going to be more beneficial to you. So whatever works for you, go ahead and do that. I chose these decks and they are going to reveal a very particular message as we go through and the layers build upon each other. So this is number one, and it's going to be how to handle this lunar phase. You're already doing it. Stop overthinking, keep facing your true north. And I sort of love this for this time period right now because it's kind of a social celebration energy. Just hang out and take the pressure off for a little while. Okay, it's a really heavy time of year for a lot of different people and for a lot of different reasons. So just for yourself, know that you are doing the work and give yourself permission to take the pressure off. Inner temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. So whatever you're out there hustling for, make sure you're doing it because it's true to you, okay, inside. When you put this energy out, and when you move forward, you want to make sure that you're doing it for the reasons that matter to you, not the reasons that matter to someone else. So all that energy that ultimately you're putting in is fulfilling a greater goal that you have for yourself long term. What might that be right now? I don't know. It could be different for every season, every situation, and it will change as you change. So don't overthink it. Just do what feels right now. Take the pressure off yourself and tune into you. If you're enjoying yourself so far, consider sticking around right now to see where you'll find satisfaction this lunar phase, and also give this video a like to let me know that you're here, you're enjoying this, and so I can keep making more. All right, again, this is where we will find satisfaction. Magic, alchemy, I love that because what a magical time of year. I know that it might feel opposite to you. But there is something about, like, think about kids, and even when you are feeling a sense of grief or pain, but you want to celebrate for your kids, there's a sense of wonder that's associated with holidays, traditions, celebrations, anything that you bring to your family. Lean into that now. Let that lift you up. Okay, let that help you take the pressure off again. So when we move through this phase, we learn this lesson. We're actually leaning into the things that matter to us because we're aware of that. Okay. Love. Divine source is the idea that no person, place, or thing is your salvation, only love itself. Love and alchemy. So I just find this so interesting. It's like just a message of reassurance to trust yourself, to trust in your core, okay? That as you blossom, okay, as you open yourself up, you allow yourself to open into these new experiences, you heal them, you blossom, and it creates something new. This is like a heart healing that's happening, but you're already doing the work. And I think that what happens is sometimes we get so caught up in the work that we forget to rest. We forget to take care of ourselves. And we forget, or we build up walls so high that we can't connect. And I absolutely know how it feels. So this is a great place to be because we talk about this stuff. We talk about the deep things, okay? we want to heal it. That's what this energy is telling us, to rest, to let the pressure off, to let the blossoming happen, right? Because we're like kind of crushing the seed at its core. It's in our heart. We're kind of crushing it down because we don't have space to let it blossom. But when we do open up some space, we do let a little bit of pressure off of that, like that rock, between the rock and the hard place, the seed will hit the fertile soil. It will blossom. We just kind of have to trust in our inner magic, our inner temple. Okay, that's our heart space, and we'll start to attract new things. And then this deck, I love this deck because it's a playful one, and that's the Sagittarius energy for me. Setting boundaries doesn't make me a jerk. Setting boundaries prevents me from becoming a jerk. That is so important. When we're talking about opening up our hearts, it is so important to realize that, like, boundaries help us from being manipulated. You know, when we start out in life, we're very pure and we've not been taken advantage of, or at least we don't realize we have. We don't realize what manipulation is, or you know, even if we have a skewed idea of love, we don't know that it's a skewed idea of love until at some point we become self-aware of where we feel repressed, and we start to create boundaries for ourselves, whether they be physical boundaries with situations and people, mental boundaries, you know, things that, social boundaries, things that we talk about, places we go. There's all kinds of different ways, conversations we engage in. There's all kinds of different ways to place boundaries, but usually the first time we do it, it's coming off of a pain. And tell me if I'm wrong, but like, definitely like this video and maybe even leave a comment below. Leave a comment below if you resonate with this. When you first create boundaries, it's like a brick wall because you're reacting to pain, and you just like, you're trying to protect yourself. But as you soften over time, boundaries become almost like this like invisible barrier that kind of zap things that are not within your energy before they even get near you. You might not even realize they were coming for you. But if you are walled in, you're going to start to feel that. You're going to start feeling isolated, alone. And this is like a lighthearted energy. So connect with the people that make you feel like you can be yourself, that don't make you feel like you have to wall yourself off and change yourself to be around them. Okay, that was a lot, I think, but okay. I'm not gonna move on to number 3, something to set our intentions towards. If you're enjoying this kind of like, you know, rambly, deep, wild nonsense, you should definitely subscribe to this channel, because this is basically how we operate all the time. Right now, we have these spreads that come out for every lunar cycle, but we also, for the full moons, do a live stream, and that's to connect together with this whole community that we have on Facebook, the Secret Society of Self-Care. It's so important that we're connecting so we don't wall ourselves off. We're able to connect to other people, because we do become very isolated, and it is necessary for a period of time. I think we need the walls, almost the comfort of being in our home or something like that, the sacred space, to heal and feel safe and start to open up again. But as we do, it changes, and it may be time to connect again, at least with those that make you feel validated in this world. All right, now something to set our intentions towards. Number 3, electricity, wildness. I think this is like an opening up of the self that's going to come from this inner temple. Okay, that's going to come from honoring the inner temple. That's going to come from honoring your boundaries. When you have boundaries, it's because you're like, wow, somebody else's has control of me in this way. They've taken a piece, or I've let this other human or this situation decide what my life is going to feel like for me. That is not necessary. At times, we're in situations that we are under the manipulation or under the abuse, the delusion, where we have to come to terms with that leave it, okay? We have to get out of it to heal from it. Because if we're in it, we're in the toxicity of the dynamic. We're generally like kind of addicted to the dynamic that we're playing off of each other. So when we leave the dynamic, we get some space, we start to see who we really are without the constraints or the eyes of people who would have judged us for fully opening up. There's something inside of you that you've been, I want to say, afraid to open up or share, but you only share it in certain places. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but it is necessary to realize like how much you change yourself based on the spaces that you enter, and how okay are you with that, and how how willing are you, and in what spaces do you need to take the mask off or leave the spaces that don't accept you for who you truly are. It's time to maybe face some of that and really be spending time in social circles that honor you. Very deep for a party energy. Reframe. This is happening for me, not to me. So whatever is coming your way, I'm assuming what this is, it is going to be there's going to be a breaking down of certain things, but I promise you it's opening up space to bring gifts into your life. If you are hanging on to every old toxic relationship and you're refusing to see it for what it is, it really is blocking you. So it's someone else's boundary for your life, somebody else's expectation, not a boundary. It's their expectation, their rule. You're living by their rules. It doesn't feel right. I promise it doesn't. It's something that doesn't feel right. I don't know what that is to you, but when you finally unleash that, who you are, you realize that the space to open that up, to get out from that, under that situation that makes you feel the pressure, does open up a new perspective for you and what you want. It is a gift, and it will bring beautiful things into your life. I'm the only me I've got, so I'm going to speak lovingly to myself from sunup to sunup. That means extra compliments and hold the critical anxiety spirals. Exactly. We're reframing ourselves, our perspective of who we are, because we've done all we can. Okay, I want you to understand you've done everything that you can to please that person, to please that situation, to change it, to fix it, to fit in there. If you don't feel right there, I want you to trust yourself this time. Let some of the pressure off and trust you, just for now, even, just for this moon cycle, and see what happens. See what happens from this. When you watch this, let this soak in and see what develops from there. Okay? This is going to be something to be aware of. I appreciate you being here, hanging in with me. My very specific ADHD style of communicating kind of goes on some wandering rants. We're going deep. We're getting in there. Whatever lands right now is what you're ready to hear, and whatever lands next time you watch this is going to be what you're ready to hear then. Let it develop. Let it blossom. Let it land with you. Okay? Sit with it. Journal with it. Meditate on it, and then let it go for a while and see what the space actually opens up within you, okay? Something to be aware of: creation in water, softening the experience, or like almost nurturing. That's what comes to me here, is like a nurturing experience. You see how light this is. This is letting a pressure off, almost like when you're floating. Okay? Let yourself kind of float. Let yourself float away. True offering takes what can be unbearable, an unbearable cross, and returns it to love. Look at both of these images. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. How it mirrors opening our hands. Look how many times we've seen opening our hands. I've seen like this letting go, opening up, unlocking. Okay? We are letting go and offering it back up. If it's meant for us, it comes. If it's not, it goes to where it is, and let's be happy for it. Let's let the energy go where it wants to go, okay? And allow ourselves to hold what is meant for us, what feels really right, instead of trying to hold, like grab and squeeze and just like hold on to things that are trying to escape us? What does it feel like to let our hands open, let things go, and let those that are meant for us come back in a softer way? Okay, that's again with the boundaries. We may be cutting things off, but I want you to consider it a gift, kind of to open your hands and let go. I'll do my best today no matter what. Even if my best is way less than perfect, it still counts. It sure does, because if it didn't, we wouldn't be here and none of this would matter. I wouldn't be here, I promise. I wouldn't be healing. I would be, someday we'll talk about. Someday we'll really get into where we all started, but we're all out there in the world. We're all out there in the world just doing what we think we need to do to get by, to get where we want to go, the next place. We might become on complete autopilot. We might be actually, working some sort of method of getting some sort of goal. But ultimately, again, take the pressure off. Take one step. Do one thing for yourself. Reframe one thing. One thing comes from this, okay? Does not have to be perfect. The notes don't have to be perfect. Nothing has to be perfect here. Just participate, engage to your level of resonance, your level of comfort, your level of reflection. You're not too late. You're not too early for this. You are exactly on time. I want you to let the pressure, again, off of yourself. That's the theme that keeps coming through for me, is just lightening up on yourself so you can actually receive what is meant for you, so you can hear the messages, so you're not so stuck on what you've been watching for out there that you can't see what's right here in front of you, and appreciate the magic, okay? Everyday magic. This is a lesson we may face. East beginnings. So if you allow yourself that a brand new chapter is going to unfold right now, do you like that? A brand new, whatever the right now is for you. Like I said, there's no too late. There's no too early. Sorry if these are out of frame because I'm sitting lower today. There's no too late. There's no too early. There's no wrong timing. It's your timing. The new beginning, the new chapter, the synchronicity is what matters to you. It's what is important to you, and it's right now. Stay in the present and don't get too far ahead of the flow. You'll soon trust that nothing more will come than can be handled in each moment. And that's exactly what you just said. If we get so stuck out there, we miss what's here, what's right here in front of us. And that's what's important, to be here now. If we feel stuck and we feel like we're on the hamster wheel, that's because we are. To stop and rest feels totally different. And to realize like you don't have to get back on it, at least in the same capacity you were before, is life-changing. I choose what's better and healthier for me. Instant gratification is fleeting, but smug satisfaction lasts forever. Trust you. Trust you right now. Whatever is meant for you. You think like, but I would do that, but that's not healthy. What if it feels healthy to you? Trust you for once. Stop doing what everybody else says and I don't know who you hang out with. I don't know what you follow. I don't know what your beliefs have been. Lighten up. I'm not saying go out there and, like throw your face into the middle of like a buffet table. But what I am saying is, the pressure you put on yourself to not do certain things, and then the guilt that you put on yourself after you do the things anyway, because you put so much pressure to not do them, you do them anyway, and you do them way over the top, and it feels gross. Because there's no balance to that. You're not trusting your body. You're literally letting a craving for something become an addiction to something. Because now I'm not saying everybody can handle everything all the time. So don't think I'm going into that. Don't think I'm saying, oh, you can handle it, have a little bit. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you need to know your own limits. You need to play in the water in order to realize that. So if you do have an addiction to something, you've probably been fucking around in that long enough to know that you do. So I'm not leaving room for excuse and denial. But what I do want you to get is the guilt, the shame, the isolation, all that you feel, that you hang on to, it only fuels the addiction cycle, the numbing. You hide. We need to connect and have a place, no matter who we are, to lighten our load. Now, that does not mean everybody is meant to handle us or, what we've got going on. It does not mean that every environment we should go in and be able to find what we want. It means that we need to seek and make that the energy that we're putting in seeking loving spaces that make us just feel different in the presence of them. Not that they fix us, not that they don't do like a person or a method or whatever. No, it's the sort of community, the type of validation, openness, connection. Understand the very subtle difference between what feels too good to be true and is a manipulation, and what is true to you at a gut level. Go with your gut on all of it. Tune into the temple of your heart, okay? That's where it all comes from. It all unlocks from there. Trust you and stop. You're not an enemy to yourself. When you stop fighting you, you will win. Something will open up. When you stop fighting your hands open, okay? You release some paradigm of belief that has been blocking you, and something opens up. Thank you for being here and following along with me and this wild ride. I hope you are enjoying yourself. If you have not yet, please subscribe and like this video right now so I know that you're here, enjoying yourself, and so that you don't miss these videos later. We are actually starting a whole new spread in the Zodiac New Year. We have all kinds of new things coming up, and if you can be in tune with all of our live streams. Now, this is a resource to pay attention to. Cave protection. Isn't that so interesting? Talking about walling ourselves in, our protection, that we've had to wall ourselves in, that it's necessary to isolate to a certain point at a certain place of healing. But when is it time to open ourselves up? When is it time to step out of the cave? Because we know we've learned to protect ourselves in different ways. We are more attuned with our heart space, so we know and we trust what we feel as it comes in and gets near us. We listen, we observe. It's more subtle. The boundaries are more subtle. So we don't have to lock ourselves away and protect ourselves in that same way anymore. We're able to kind of crack the shell. The egg is going to hatch, and that's what we want. We need to give it the space. It's incubated. I don't even want to say like we're done doing the healing. I'm not saying that at all. It's a new phase of our healing, a new phase of connection, learning to trust humans and trust yourself. It's going to be different. Deepening. Once you're on earth for enough lifetimes, your old soul will begin to long for non-grasping, detachment, and surrender. They bring the peace of God. And I think that's it, the peace of God, surrender, detachment. We've had to let go of the things out there, the external things, the relationship situations, or maybe we're realizing what they are, that they're not satisfying on a deeper level. Maybe we have to go inward to even decide what we want. We don't have no idea what we want sometimes. This is the energy of a Sagittarius moon. This is sharing with us right now. So anytime that you feel like you feel yourself in that energy, you can come back and say, wow, this wants me to like lighten up. This wants me to tune in and reframe this, go inward, see what my boundaries are, make sure that I'm not still attached to a fear from out there outside of me, that I'm actually going in to surrender those things, so that way I can open myself back up to the world when the time is right. I keep my fire lit and blaze through all my shit, so after a day of it, I can enjoy my evening sit. Lighten up. Again, lightening up. We're doing so much inner work. That's the thing to realize, is you are doing work all the time. The growth, the realizing, the awareness, self-awareness, presence. To be present is doing the work. You might not believe me, but choosing presence. We are so out of tune when we're out in the world, and we're I don't even want to say living by someone else's rules, but we're out doing things that are not from the inner temple. I'm not saying we don't do, of course we do things that are not attuned to our heart. Of course we do things out in the world that that are not fun for us and are more pressure filled. Of course we do, but the point is to balance that out, to understand where to lay those down, that we don't need to carry that all the time, that we can set down the heaviness and the weight of the world and celebrate. Okay, we are allowed to do that. Being miserable does not bring us some sort of moral righteousness. Okay, so if there's some sort of emotion inside of you that just wants to spill out, or you're just like, oh, something's got to change, or like you know it. If you keep shoving that down, it's going to burst out anyway. It's going to do this anyway. Why not sit with it in this softer way? Let yourself have the room to let these things blossom softly, instead of having it just like burst out of your chest and explode all over everything that you've built. This is going to be an effective way to clear our energy. The soul passion. Oh, I love that. I love that so much for this, especially Sagittarius. It's fire energy. And God, just the deep, what we're doing is from the heart, okay? I don't know. Maybe it's a hobby for you. I don't know what this is in your life, what the magic is, or where you lost it. I don't know. But right now is you're being called to tap into the magic of this time, of this season, of something that brings you a sense of wonder, that ignites your heart on fire, and to bring that forward, okay, in some small way. It does not have to be perfect. It is something that you are doing. You're setting aside space for yourself in this world because you have been working so hard. You deserve to do something you enjoy. It's also, though, examining what is true to my heart and my soul in this moment, but also long term. So sometimes we relax in certain ways that are not healthy for us day after day after day. You recognize that because you are tuned into yourself, you trust yourself, and if you find yourself abusing something or overusing it, numbing it, doing for the wrong reasons, then you trust yourself to place different sort of boundaries, limits, or cut things like out of your life. It's about the inner temple. When you trust you don't have to have the same level of accountability. It does not mean that you don't need accountability in the world, externally. That's great for lots of reasons, and for all kinds of people. It's for me, I need an anchor in the world, or I'm just hanging out here with my cards all day, talking to it's important. Okay, it's important to tap in, but also to have an anchor in the outside world, to know what the anchors are and why we do what we do, why we allow certain energies in, why we, and which ones stifle the passion, stifle what feels true to us. We want to be connecting in spaces, even again, if it's just hobbies or just in lightly bringing this into our lives. whatever this is that's inside that we want to blossom, lightly bringing it in so it doesn't burst out later in a way that does damage. Limitless. To see yourself open to receive in the most miraculous ways. Divine can use anything and anyone. Again, with the hands, there's a lot of butterfly and like flying energy. I want you to consider that as well. There's just a lot of this sort of freedom energy, lightness and limitlessness, where you go from this point where you've been tethered down to the earth, okay? Difference between an anchor and a tether. The anchor that we pull up and we release when we want to ground ourselves. The tether is where we are tied down and cannot be free. Shelter or protection and a cage are very different. A cave and, shelter are very different. We want to not be closed up forever in a cage of our own making. We've been talking about going deep, okay, and anchoring in. This is telling us to kind of lighten up now. We've been really getting in deep. Now it's time to lighten up. I radiate patience like a goddamn guru, mostly because I am too exhausted for morning tantrums. That's not a mood right there. All right, that's passion right there. Look at that little, is that the mood? That's the mood I want to carry into every single day. And if that's opening up my soul, embracing my passion, giving myself space to live, I don't see any downside here. I understand it is hard sometimes because we don't have the space already. And what do we choose to let go of in order to give myself space, and what is selfish? And we have all these different things. Stop overthinking it. Tune into yourself. You deserve space in this world too. And I understand it may be too busy. Something may have to give. That's not comfortable, but you deserve it. You are worth it. In order to really experience your value on this earth, you have to be also tuned into you and your dreams and your expectations, your own expectations for the world. Okay, so celebrate in a new way. Celebrate something new for yourself. Do something new that makes you feel alive and open and passionate. Thank you so much for being here. This is our final message from the cosmos, number 8. So I have a few bonus messages in here, as you see. And I just really, really appreciate you being here. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so that you know when we go live for our full moon live streams. We want you to be able to be there to chat along with us in the comments, as well as get your own live oracle card readings. We do that every month at the full moon. And if you're not subscribed, you might miss it. So you don't want to. Final message is depth. Oh, see, didn't we just talk about deepening? Okay, we also had this message in Scorpio season, so we went under the surface. That's very important to note that we are under the surface a lot. We've done a lot of work, and now, look at this. It's easy for me to receive. We are floating back to the top of the surface, okay? We had this water energy creation. It was just kind of a lightness. Before, it felt like we were sinking, drowning, heavy. Whatever reason is now, we're feeling like we're floating. And that's the energy we were getting even earlier on. Floating, letting go, lightness, ease. That's what it feels like. Ease versus the pressure. I love how these messages always come together. They always come together like this. Any message you go check out, they always come together in this beautiful way. The decks are always different, and I choose those intuitively. So tuning into the inner temple is what gives us these messages. If I am overthinking it, it comes out all fucked up, and I do not care for it at all. To see how the messages come together from my own intuitive energy, it is just as meaningful and surprising to me as it is to you. And so it's really special to me that this connects with you enough that you are hanging out and experiencing these shifts and this powerful lunar magic along with me. When in doubt, give people the benefit. Everyone else is trying their best, right? Isn't that funny? Isn't that really funny? Am I making it up, or did we talk about this before? Did we talk about this here? About like, did we? We're all out there in the world just doing what we think we need to do to get by. We have to give ourselves the benefit of the doubt, okay? Before we can give it to anybody else. If we are so hard on ourselves, we really can't be easy on others. We'll have to have high expectations, and the need to control other people, because that's what satisfies us. If we feel out of control, like we can't control our surroundings, because we can't control what's going on inside of us, it's a mirror. So when you give ourselves the benefit of the doubt, then we can give others the benefit of the doubt as well. The gift of freedom! Ah! Oh my God! Okay. Guys, every time. I feel like it's like so validating. This is like so validating to me, because every time this happens, we talked about the 3 before too, and every time, I don't know how to explain it. The decks are always different. They always come together differently. Every fucking time. Yes. And look there's the freaking birds again. Is it birds? Yeah. Anchoring. Okay. Anchoring into ourselves, tuning into the temple of our heart. We just talked about that for the Taurus full moon. We anchor into ourselves deeply. Okay. We're going like all the way in. We have to go all the way into us in order to give others the gift of freedom. The freedom starts inside. The ease starts inside. Lightening up, opening our hands. We stop controlling what's out there, because we're not trying to hold so tightly to anything that's not quite meant for us. It's okay to let go of things. It's okay to not fight to hang on to things every single day. There's certain things we have to fight for, and we need to know the difference. One final message from the cosmos. Make sure that you are here with us live for the full moons. Playful. I go about life playfully and take things lightly. I can turn any hard day or heavy burden into a fun adventure. Adventure is Sagittarius mood right there. And I didn't say the word, so of course the cards did it for me. Why spend so much time upset when there is so much fun to be had? Take the pressure off yourself. I literally could never say this better than the cards do.